All right, sorry folks. I don't know if I'm live or not. It said live streaming isn't available right now, so okay, looks like it's live. So I apologize. Didn't know it was live. Didn't know what was going on here. So can you guys hear me? Everybody hear me good now? Always running into these technical difficulties lately. I don't know what's going on, but it literally said I went live, and then YouTube said live streaming is not available right now, and then it made me end the stream. And it looks like it's live, so you guys can hear me? Everybody can hear me? Please confirm that you can hear me. It looks like everybody can. Hello, hello. What's going on, Juan? What's going on, Mike? Blue Phoenix, Cubs win. Amanda, Armed Coyote. What's happening? Andre. How's everybody doing? So everyone can hear me. Okay, yeah, let's go. Yep, okay, cool. All right. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. I don't know what's going on with this technical stuff lately, man. YouTube just was like, oh yeah, YouTube says, oh, it's not available for streaming right now. It's like, what? Yeah, so crazy. Anyway, we got it now. So hopefully I don't have to click any more buttons and we'll be good. No more buttons. So this is a little different. Hello, girl from Saudi Arabia. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Elf. What's happening? Sarah, everybody, what's happening? What's going on? Carlos. So this is a different subject than what I would normally do. So it's kind of cool. I thought this is a pretty cool picture. So for anybody who hasn't seen what I'm going to be drawing here, I'm going to show you real quick. So this is my reference photo. Looks pretty cool. I think I'm gonna leave the background out, you know, because that would just be a little too difficult to have like the earth in there and everything and get that shaded. So I'm just gonna have this look like it's kind of floating around in space. So no biggie there. So yeah, just trying to get the proportions of this kind of capsule. Thanks, Maisie Mill. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the kind words. Definitely appreciated. Yeah, this might be a little more difficult than most things that I draw because this isn't as organic as like a landscape or an animal. I mean, an animal is somewhat difficult too sometimes, but even an animal can have different kind of proportions or characteristics, and something like this that's completely man-made. It's kind of tough because it all has to be, it has to have these certain angles and proportions and things. I mean, it's probably, of course, not going to be perfect. Nothing ever is perfect, but my point is it's probably a little more challenging than like, you know, drawing an animal like I would usually do. But that's all right. We'll just try to figure this out. Try to figure this out. Thanks, Blue Phoenix. Glad to hear that. Hope everything's going well. It's really cool to hear. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to just work on some of these angles, some of these lines on the ship now. Just trying to get everything laid out as best I can. Pretty cool looking capsule, little capsule here. Pretty interesting. Sounds cool, armed coyote. Sounds really cool. Good luck with it. It's definitely challenging, but I'm sure you can do it. Okay. Just trying to line some things up here. All right, looking pretty good so far, I think. It's feeling pretty good, at least. Hello from Colombia. Thanks for tuning in. Glad to have you. So I'm just really trying to make sure I'm getting a lot of stuff in the right place before I get to the ink part of this. Of course, I mean, I don't want to start inking it until got everything in the right spot for the most part. There we go. Zoom in a little bit. It's perfect. So it looks like there's a lot going on in this little capsule. This little hole in the side is going to be really cool to put on there, I think, with the ink, the white ink. There's like a little porthole thing there they can look out of. I think that's going to look really cool. The letters on the side, I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to put the letters in the way that they are. I'm just going to like make it look like letters or something. Yeah, that's going to be tricky, but okay. Other little logo thing down there. Not sure what these shapes are, but it must be like some kind of door handles or something, some kind of thing to let them enter this thing or something. I don't know. I'm making it up. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's really hard to see. But just some dark shapes there, so it's kind of cool. Little American flag on the side. So a lot of contrast up here. Definitely want to keep that a white shape. Some other dark shapes up here. I really like this photo because of the lighting. A little bit of light on the top against the harsh shadow there. Just really stood out to me, so looked really cool. And I think the bottom part where the kind of earth is reflecting up underneath it, I think I can leave that the tone of the paper. So I won't have to do a whole lot of shading in this, hopefully, to get a cool effect. I'll probably do some dark in the background, some like vertical darkness or something against this horizontal light. I think that'd be pretty cool. It's kind of what I'm planning. It's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. Yeah, I hope it's going to be great. Feeling good about it so far. It's the inking part that's going to be, you know, the fun, challenging part. But it does look pretty good, I think. See if we back this out. So, looking pretty good. I think everything seems to be lining up. So I got lucky with this one. I think the bottom section's probably a little too big, a little bit, but maybe not. Maybe not. I think I'm gonna keep it. It's a this is a magic pencil, so I put a spell on it the other night. I did you know, did like some magical blessing to this pencil, so it actually helps me get everything perfect, and it's not something that can be bought anywhere, like at any store, so it's unfortunate about that. So this is kind of like a one-of-a-kind type of pencil that yeah, I'm just screwing around. It's a 2H pencil. It's just a regular pencil. Well, I think yeah, wizard confirmed, exactly. I've watched the Harry Potter movies many times, so I'm basically am a wizard. So, just saying. I never read the book, so I mean, who would do that? There's another porthole over here I didn't even realize. Oh, those are cool. Those are cool little emojis, like a cat in a box. Never knew that those existed. Cat's out of the box, man. Oh, so it looks like this whole thing is one big kind of either, probably not a door, but a viewing area. So there's two portholes. So it's like symmetrical. I see. Okay, cool. That actually balances it out a little bit more as well. But I want to lighten this up because this is going to be white ink. And that white ink doesn't go over very well. It doesn't go over graphite very well. So, all right, I feel pretty good about this, I think. I just need to make some of this a little bit thinner so that I know where I'm going to be inking stuff. All right, I think I have to stop delaying the inevitable and just start putting some ink down. Just want to make sure I got stuff tightened up a little bit. Little NASA logo over here, just put a little circular thing there. Okay, nice. And this section's a little bit darker than the rest. The cool thing about it, this photo is like a perfect example of like, if I were to explain how shadows and light works, like this is the perfect example. Because you have like the dark core shadow with the reflected light, but this whole section is still in shadow, and then you have the light here. I mean, this is like just perfectly how it demonstrates the concept of light and shadow. This needs to be lightened up. Boom. And this needs to be darkened. Okay, cool. So we'll try to figure out, I think maybe I'll do shading lines in this direction, kind of going with the craft, make it, kind of give it, not speed, but just like the illusion of speed or something, you know, kind of just going with it. And then the background, I'll do like vertical black lines, I think, to kind of contrast against the ship. It sounds cool to me. Steven says, you're so chill. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, just chilled out. All right, well, let's get into the ink now. When you draw, it looks so easy, but it's not really so easy. I discovered that I draw like a 5-year-old. I'm not sure what to say to that. I mean, I've been doing this since I was 5 years old, and I'm 30 now, so sometimes it is easy for me. Like this was pretty, this process was very, I got lucky with this one. Like I said, the only thing that's really off with it is like the bottom should be cut a little bit and moved in, but it doesn't really bother me. It kind of looks cool. But sometimes it doesn't look this easy. Sometimes there's been a few episodes where I really struggled for like 30 minutes just trying to get the drawing. And this one so far has taken me, 15 minutes to draw this, and then now I just do the ink. So it's usually about right. For people who've been watching these live streams for a while, it's kind of how it goes, like 10 to 15 to 20 minutes of drawing, and then I can get into the inking process. But yeah, I think I've heard that before, that sometimes I make it look easy, but and I think that's some of the problem with art. People think art is easy to do, you know, especially when you're in like college or high school. People are like, oh, I'll just go take an art class. It'll be an easy credit to get, you know, easy class. And then they go in art class and they're like, oh man, this is way more difficult than I thought it was going to be. You know, they're like cursing themselves because they didn't realize how difficult it is to actually create things. I think it gives people more respect for artists and creating things, you know. Because most people think like, oh, this stuff's like drawing, that's easy. But on the other hand, some people think it is very hard, it is difficult. Some people know it's difficult to draw because they tried it themselves, you know. It's something you don't really understand until you try it yourself, and then you're like, okay, this is really difficult, you know. It's one of those things. Why do you like using ink? Why do I like using ink? I like it because it doesn't get messy in the sketchbook when I keep a whole sketchbook of ink drawings. You know, if you do like charcoal or graphite, you have to use a spray, and then like everything's all like, you know, you have this spray chemical in your sketchbook, and you always have to buy more spray, and like it's just a pain to like keep things clean in your sketchbook when you have a lot of graphite and charcoal and stuff. And I did that in the past, and a lot of that spray is very flammable, and it's like, great, I'm making the paper more flammable than like the paper itself, you know. It's like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I started using ink, and I like the challenge of it too, because whenever you put a line down, it's on the paper, like there's no going back. So it makes you really, you know, plan, like think out, like what am I doing? You know, you have to have kind of a plan. So I kind of like the aspect of it being challenging. I like having a challenge. I think we have a stereotype that to draw you should be talented, like it's not something that you learn. Yeah, that's true too. That's a good point. A lot of people say, wow, you're so talented, you've been given such a gift and blah blah. And I mean, I think maybe that's true to some extent. Some people just have the ability to see things more clearly than other people and be able to replicate it with their hands, but you can learn that too. It's a learned thing. Like when I was 5 years old, I wasn't doing drawings this well. You know, it's like, it's something I had to learn over time. It's just that since I was doing it since I was so young, I've had a lot of time to learn it. It's much harder to learn something like that when you're an adult, because then you got to put in all those years, and most people don't have time to do that. They don't have the ability to do that. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer that people think it's a talent, to be honest, because it's like, you know what, it actually takes a lot of hard work, you know, and people discount that part of it. They just go, oh wow, you're so talented, you got such a gift from God and blah blah. And it's like, okay, that might be like 10% of it, 5% of it. Like, you know, I had to do a lot of work too. Like, it's not always easy for me. So sometimes it is annoying to hear that aspect of it, because people just don't understand. They're like, it's not always easy. Like, I'm constantly making decisions, constantly judging everything, every second, every line that I put down. It's like, it's a lot of brain power, man, that you use. That's why it's so hard to do a lot of art in one day, because it's like you make hundreds and maybe thousands of decisions over like a painting or a few paintings. That's a lot. It's pretty taxing on your brain. Most people do work for a week and they don't make that many decisions. You know, they're just like kind of on autopilot, more like a robot, you know. Is it true if the 4 layers shading increases, the look of the illustration will be true? I'm not sure what that means. If you can elaborate a little bit more. The 4 layers, you mean like the 4 values or something? I'm not really sure what you mean. Ink is interesting because we can't erase mistakes. Yeah, exactly. That's what I like about it. It's pretty challenging. Okay, I saw a mistake right away. So if we look at, so you see mine, these are parallel. But if you look at the reference photo, it comes in more. So luckily I didn't put it too dark yet. So I think I need to correct both, each on both sides, kind of turn this one in a little bit, turn this one in a little bit, maybe. Or I just run with it. I already inked part of it. But let's see if I can just tweak it a little bit. Yeah, it may be just that if I just tweak this side, it'll look fine. So now we're getting more of a coming together. You know, I could tweak this. Let me see. I kind of already inked that other side, so I don't really think I can tweak that. Ooh, maybe. Because this is going to be on shadow. So it's kind of okay that I have that line. There we go. And then this will just... See what I'm saying? It's hard, it's difficult, it's not always easy. How long have I been into art? Ever since I was young. You know, I've been drawing since I was like 4 or 5. When I was young, I would like draw cartoons that I watched. You know, I drew like Scooby-Doo and Winnie the Pooh and all kinds of stuff. All kinds of, like the Disney VHS tapes, the covers, the movie covers. I used to always try to draw those a lot. So yeah, I just did a lot of stuff like that when I was a kid. I kept just copying what I would see, you know. You started out gifted and then you learned and mastered your art. At least that's how I see it. Yeah, I mean, possibly. That's what I was saying, you know. Some people do have a gift or whatever, but it doesn't mean you don't have to put work into it. That's for sure. Yeah, so I kind of fixed that. I mean, hopefully it'll be okay. Just roll with it. But see that line that I did on accident, that can just go with the shading of the rest of it. So should be fine actually. Not too worried. Alright. Kind of not sure what to do next now. Kind of like, getting afraid here. Yeah, I've heard that before. I kind of look like PewDiePie. Definitely heard that before. So now I need to move this porthole over, which kind of sucks because I like how I have it drawn. But it needs to move if I want it to be more correct. So I'll kind of duplicate it a little bit first. And then just erase the part that's wrong. Cool, cool. Not sure what to do about this lettering. I feel if I try to make it say SpaceX, it's gonna look awful. So I'm gonna try to figure that out. I'll do some kind of hieroglyph looking, just loose looking letters. Something. I'll try to wait to figure that out. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Gonna use acrylic? No. I don't have any acrylics to use. I haven't used acrylics in years. Enrique, thanks for tuning in, man. Hope it's going well. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Glad to see you here. Hope I pronounced your name right. Apologize. Alright, so this is a very critical line, but I'm going to try to put it in. Try to keep it thin. Cool, that works. That works for me. So, check that out, guys. Looking pretty good. Not perfectly circular here, but good enough. Whew, all right. I think a charcoal pencil could be useful for the outlining. Well, I'm already using ink, so I don't want to use charcoal because it's too messy. Definitely too messy. In the sketchbook, I just talked about that a little bit earlier, but when you start using ink in this drawing, I didn't like this so much, but just now I realized this looks like a page in a manga book. A manga book. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good at first usually. You know, I have to thicken up some of the lines in some places and get it to be more dynamic looking and put in the shading. Once you start putting in the shading and stuff, it starts looking a little bit better. It's definitely a process. But yeah, hopefully this one will look good. It's my goal. I'm struggling to draw a realistic cloud using pencil. Do you have any suggestions? I appreciate it. Oh, that's tough, man. Clouds are very soft, so yeah, you're gonna have to use very soft lines and stuff. It's more just, you're gonna have to just shade. You have to use shading. Just trying to get the direction of my lines the way I want. Yeah, this is an experiment. I've never really shaded using this direction, so we'll see if it works. I think it's gonna look cool. I'm gonna try to shade the whole thing with this one direction of line. I think. It's kind of too late to go back now, so it's looking cool to me already, I think, so. Okay. A little bit of light shading there. All right. Let's keep going. 40 minutes in, guys. We can do this. I have a question. The pen you're using now has some measure. I mean, like the pencil. Yeah, it does. It's an 05 pen, 5mm, I guess. So, Pigma Micron 05. It's kind of the size that I like using. I've used 03 in the past. I've used 08, but the 05, I like it because you can get thin and it's easy to get a little bit thicker. The other ones, like an 03 seems too thin and 08 seems too thick. Like this one's kind of like right in the middle, and I can get like, you know, like I just said, I can get thinner in some areas and then just thicken it up. It's very easy to thicken it up. So it's kind of what I like to use. So see, you're starting to get kind of the vibe of the whole, how I'm going to shade everything in this direction that kind of goes with the craft. So I hope it looks cool. That's what I'm working towards. I think it's gonna somehow give it a little bit of speed, just visually. Possibly. I hope if I do the background, I don't know if I'm gonna put a background in, but if I do a little bit of vertical black lines, I don't know, hopefully that'll look cool. Kind of contrasting against this whole ship. I'm hoping it's gonna look cool. I'm kind of nervous about it, that's why I'm saying it again, because I don't know. I don't want to mess this thing up, you know. But I do want to try to push it and make it look good, so it's one of those things. Sometimes you gotta take the risk. So this section's a bit darker and it gets lighter as the more it turns towards the earth. And it's mostly the color of the page, so I'm going to keep it kind of like that. Make the color of the page work for me here. Well, it depends on what you do. It depends on what you're doing. The way you hold the pen. Elf Chosen says some teacher taught to hold pen very high, but I saw you hold it very close to the tip. Depends on what you're doing. I'm doing very detailed stuff right now. You know, short, small strokes. If you're doing, like when I drew the beginning of this, you know, I'm holding the pencil back here. I'm drawing very loosely. So there's different, you know, it's different applications for what, it depends on what you're doing. You know, if I want to hold the pen back here, then it's much harder to control my lines. And I want to be, right now, I want to be in control. I want to be very controlled with what I'm doing. So I got to hold it closer to the tip. You know, there's no absolutes. There's not something that it's like you should always do this or always do that. It's always circumstantial. Depends on, you know, your circumstances and what you're going for, what you're looking to do. Oh, okay. I guess I should start shading the big area. That's the part I'm afraid of. Definitely the part I'm afraid of. So some kind of SpaceX logo here. So scribble that on. Or some kind of logo. I'm not sure what logo it is. So I'm just going to start by kind of drawing the line of the shadow. But I'm keeping all my lines the same direction, so some of them are going to have to, I'm going to have to do many lines to draw that outline. Yeah, no problem, Elf. I hope that made sense. Hope that made sense. You know, it's all just situational. Depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with holding the pen any way you want to hold it. It's just, are you able to achieve the effects that you're looking to get? You know, that's the most important thing, is just the outcome of the art, you know. I think people get so caught up in like what materials they should be using and how they should be holding things and where they should be, what they should be doing. It's like, you know, yeah, sometimes that stuff's important, especially if things aren't working the way you want them to. But I try to focus on what's the final outcome of the art, like what does the art look like? You know, whatever process you use doesn't really matter. As long as it gets you to that outcome, then your process worked, you know. Your process was, what's the word? You know, beneficial or whatever. Your process was, what's the word? I can't think of the word. You know, your process was good. I think this is really going to pop once I'm going to put that white ink on here shortly. I think this is really going to pop. That's my hope anyway. So I got to really be controlled here with the value, because this part is very important, and it's very challenging, the way that it is shaded. It's like the crucial part. I have to really pay attention here. So, how's that looking, guys? I think it's looking pretty good, man. Looking pretty good. I think I need to darken some of this up a bit. Schaefer art for the logo. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm not going to do that though. But yeah. What are you doing when you have an art block? I don't do art. Just take a break. Happens a few times a year to me. You know, sometimes you got to take a break. Sometimes you have to, you know, there's different things you can do. Sometimes I try to push through it and just create art anyway. I do that a lot. Done that a few times. Sometimes you do have to just take a little break, you know, just go and rest your mind a bit, rest your, you know. But if you're like making a living from this or trying to make a living from it, it's kind of hard to like just stop doing it, you know. And I'm trying to have a better mentality of like just trying to create no matter what. So I'm trying to be more consistent with these live streams and just, I want to do them every day now if I can, you know. It's always my goal, is just trying to do these as often as I can. But you know, sometimes you just have to take a week off or a few days off, you know. And I try to get inspired. I start looking at other art, try to get inspired again. Try to find that spark that makes you want to create. All right, that's pretty cool. That's pretty nice. I think I need to darken it here a bit. Kind of round it a bit more. Looks like this really needs to get darker, possibly. Fade that out a bit more. Schaefer X. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think the shading's pretty nice, pretty good for now. Not perfect, but nothing in life is perfect. No job, no relationship, no piece of art, no person, nothing. Okay. Cool. The only thing I didn't do is this little scribble of letters, but I don't know. Little graffiti there. All right. Calligraphy, graffiti, I don't know. I'm gonna soften this edge slightly where that shadow is, give it a little bit of mid-tone. Boom. I'm afraid to even add some white to this, but I think it needs it. I think it's gonna make it pop. Thanks, Maisie. I definitely appreciate the kind words. Really appreciate it. I think I'm going to start with these portholes. I'm afraid to start here, up here, but I know it's going to need it. Maybe white line over here. Let's get this thing writing. Okay. Oh yeah, this is going to pop. This is going to really pop, I think. Yeah, these white pens don't really write over any black very well. Always got to leave just the plain paper where you're doing the white ink. Doesn't always happen as planned sometimes, but I try, really try. Yeah, this is pretty cool looking. Maybe we'll add a little bit of reflections here, slightly. Not too much, not too many. Just a little taste there. Oh boy, okay. Looks awesome. I'm drawing with you, but I am drawing daisies. That's cool. What kind of pen is this? This is called a Jelly Roll, and this is an 08. So this one's a little bit thicker. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. It's not like the greatest white pen ever, but I haven't really found anything better yet as far as white pens go and stuff. All right, let's see. We got some reflections there. All right, let's hit these big areas. Maybe a little bit of reflections here. It's a little bit lighter there. So, okay, cool. A line there, and there's a line there. Try to zoom this in for you guys. So this area is really light, really bright. what I'm going to try to do, I don't know if I can, there's kind of a, so when there's something really bright like this, I can see it in the photo, if you guys can see it. There's like a glow. So there's like a glow around these light areas. So right around here, the shadow actually gets lighter because like the light is glowing. It's like a, I would call it atmosphere, but we're not in the atmosphere. There's no light, but somehow it's still, it must be, yeah, I wonder how it is getting that glow actually. It must be from the camera or the sun above, like the sun that's above casting those rays. But how do you, it has to be something to do with the glass because there's no atmosphere up there. So how is you having a glow in space? Oh no, we're gonna open up the door for space is fake debate. It's all CGI, bro, this is all fake. But my point is, I want to try to make this, lighten this up a little bit, give it, see if I can get that glow effect on part of this. Like I said, I don't know if I can, but just something I'm just trying. So if I just lighten up some of that shadow. In the end, might have a glow, type of, a little bit of a glow effect, we'll see. But I'm gonna keep shading here. Yeah, I don't know what that glowing light's from actually, to be honest. I think, you mean up above? I think up above it's the sun, because that's where all this light is. But I think, yeah, I don't know. Do you take part in Inktober? No, I don't. Or I didn't in the past, because I didn't start doing ink like this until like January of this year. So I did like some gouache paintings in black and white for Inktober last year. And I did like 7 or something. I didn't even do that many. I was just basically having fun doing them when I could, when I felt like it. But yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure this year I will probably do Inktober, because I'm doing Inktober's all year for me, you know what I mean? Every other live stream I do is ink, so that's how I'm gonna keep rolling with it. But yeah, maybe Inktober, maybe during October this year, or Inktober, I'll do like just ink every day, but I think I'd get bored of that. I can't do that. But I'll try. I mean, I can try it. But yeah. So let's zoom this out. Let's see what we got going here. All right, pretty cool, pretty cool. So problem I'm running into, I see, is, so this little panel here is lighter than the rest of this, which it actually is. Actually, the way I shaded it, it is, but I think I don't want to add any white there. I think what I want to do is darken the rest of this so that this section pops out a little bit more. Hope that makes sense. So just a few more lines. I don't want to make it too dark. I want to be careful here, but I just need to add a bit more value to this, because this part is still, even though it's reflected light, it's still within the whole shadow, so it has to kind of get the value of a shadow. Within this whole thing. So something like that almost, maybe even more. Looks like I'm squinting down at it, and it looks like it needs to be all a bit darker, at least this bottom section of it. So now I'm seeing this panel starting to pop out a bit more, and maybe I'll add a little tiny bit of white to it, just because I added white over here for the reflections as well. You know, we'll give it, okay, if I can get this thing to write again. These white ink pens are just not the best. But I'll just give it like a few lines there. I don't want it to be too white. Yeah, something like that. So I think, okay, well. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Amanda. Gives me a chance to experiment with Inktober. Will give me a chance to experiment for sure. No, of course, light can travel in a vacuum. I mean, that's how light gets to us on Earth from the sun. But you wouldn't see a glow, like a diffusion of light, because that only happens because we have an atmosphere that scatters the light. You know, when it's in space, light just goes in a straight line, but in the atmosphere, like on Earth, it scatters within the atmosphere in the air. So, but hey, I'm no physicist either, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I thought I was curious that there's some glow, but I think it's because they're probably taking a photo like through glass. So maybe it's the glass that's giving that effect. I don't know. But I think I need a black background, and then that white will really pop, I think. I think that's what I need. So I'm just adding a little more reflected light here. Just trying to push the values a bit. Actually, I didn't like that I just added that white. I need this to be darker. Yeah, something like that. And actually, this is actually lit up down here, so it's cool. A little bit of light down there. That kind of helps it, actually. That kind of balances out this whole thing. A little tiny bit of light there on that fin. That's kind of cool. Okay. Yeah, Andre, I did think about that. Is it still in the upper atmosphere? Possibly, yeah. It's probably a little bit of atmosphere up there, so maybe it technically could glow like that. Since it is orbiting Earth, so I guess there is like a little bit of atmosphere up there, holding everything together still. Are you going to put a background to set the scene in space? Yeah, I think I'm just going to do some vertical black lines. I'm not going to do too much because this will take me forever. But I do want to have some kind of contrasting lines against this. Like I said, I don't know. I have no idea how it's going to look. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I think I can do it. I mean, I've done vertical black lines in the past. It looks pretty cool usually. So that's what I'm gonna go for here. I really like this line around the cone of it. It came out really well, actually. Okay, and I think I'm gonna have more darkness more towards the top and less at the bottom. I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully it's gonna pop out. It's gonna really make this section, I think adding black on the bottom and the top is gonna make both sides really pop out. So let's stop talking and start doing. Right. Yeah, let's hope so. Like a shark chasing in the space. Cool. How are you going to make that glow that is at the top of the pic? Oh, I'm going to ignore that. I'm ignoring. So the glow at the top, yeah, I'm going to ignore that because, yeah, that would just complicate things. That's going to take away from the actual spaceship. So that's going to be ignored for the sake of design, sake of art. The most contrast I want is going to be up here and possibly down here a little bit, but this is definitely the most area of contrast, so this is where I'm going to have. All right, guys, no turning back now. See if this looks good. It's going to look so dumb in the beginning, so just bear with me here, folks. It always looks stupid when you first start something. I've done this enough to know that it always looks dumb until you add in enough lines, enough value. It's going to look really dumb. People are going to be thinking, like, what is this guy doing? He doesn't know what he's doing. And you're kind of right, because I'm just making this up. I don't really know how to do pen and ink techniques or anything. I'm just having fun, man. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not an expert at pen and ink. I just like having fun. That's all. So now I'm kind of afraid of what I was just doing. So now I'm distracting myself a bit here. But what I'm doing is thickening up some of the line work in certain areas to make it a little more dynamic. So I kind of draw your attention to certain areas, like, so there's like a lot of tension here, so I darken that line up. So I thicken that line up here. A lot of tension here, a lot of darkness here too. So I darken that, darken this up, thicken it up, and then thicken it up down here, maybe around this curve too. So I try to locate, like, I try to create movement within the line work. So the idea is, so a normal line, so let's say a normal line is like this, these two, so this is a normal line, how they're kind of parallel. So let's say that's like a one line that I drew, these two shapes. It's just a big black shape, right? But if I thicken the line at one point, it changes the shape into something like this. And what that does is creates movement. So now you have a thicker area and then a thinner area. So it automatically draws your eye to a certain way, you know, especially if you make them like this. So that's kind of the idea that I just kind of understand mentally when I'm doing this. So the line work, when you thicken it up in some areas, you're kind of drawing attention to those thicker areas. I hope that makes sense. You know, it's just things that are parallel are very boring. So when you have something that's diagonal, diagonals create movement in a scene. So if you think of like a very calm, serene place, there's a lot, or like a calm, serene artwork, there's a lot of horizontals. You know, if you're thinking about like a lake, you know, it's all like very horizontal, everything's horizontal. But if you want something with movement, you know, there's a lot of diagonals, kind of draws you through the scene, you know, like a road leading into the distance or something. But anyway, I'm just rambling now. But that's just my idea with like thickening up the lines in some areas. It just draws your attention, makes it a little more dynamic in certain places, rather than having these lines that are just kind of parallel in a way, if that makes sense. I hope that made sense in some way to someone. All right, let's get back to the background. I gotta finish this up. So I'm not sure how. I don't know if I'm gonna go off of the outside of the spaceship with the background, or keep it. I think I don't want it to be a very big background. So I can always extend it out if I want. So for now, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it within the spacecraft for now. And I want it to get smaller and smaller as it gets toward the edges, and lighter, so they'd be spaced farther apart. And maybe taller. So I'm trying to create some kind of gradient. I'm going to continue this at the bottom, but I think I might. So the tall part is over here, and I might make a taller part down here, so that there's kind of a diagonal aspect to it as well, to the shading, rather than it being the tallest in the same areas. I might make it taller down here, so it kind of gives some kind of movement to it. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. So we'll just start out with some regular lines. First, and then I'll kind of try to see if I need to make any of them taller or something as we progress here. I think this is looking pretty cool. I hope so. Yeah, the background's always tricky, you know. It's always like, you know, you have to really put a lot of lines down to get it to look complete. But adding them to the bottom now, it's definitely getting some continuity here. So I need to get them to the value of like really dark, so that they contrast against, you know, it needs to look like space behind there rather than, you know, I don't want it to be this value. I want it to be darker. So it's going to take a little bit of time here, folks, but it's all right. I'm not sure, Elf, to be honest. Yeah, I have no idea. Like I said, I don't really know much about what I'm doing. I'm just making this up. It's all just one big experiment. My whole YouTube channel is one big experiment. So I just kind of take some risks and hope it goes well. Like, that's all I can really do. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try to make them a little bit longer down on this side. So here's what we got so far, folks. Whew. Okay. Well, I think we still need to keep going here. Gotta thicken up some of the line work at the bottom because I really need the spacecraft to kind of pop out in the shadows. You know, against the shadows. Let's thicken it up on this side too, possibly. It's getting quiet out there, folks. How's everybody doing? Anybody got any questions or anything? Or anybody making dinner or eating anything? I'm starting to get hungry. I gotta eat dinner soon. I don't know what I'm gonna eat. I have no idea. Maybe make French fries or something. I have no idea. Oh man, I'm getting really hungry. All right, I think you know, I do like the vertical lines. It's kind of cool, but I feel like it needs more. It needs something more. I'm not sure yet. I don't know if it just needs. I think it just needs more darkness for the space. We are falling asleep. Oh gosh. I hope you're not too bored, man. Everybody's bored of me now. Falling asleep. Yeah, the bottom piece that sticks out is kind of blending in right now. Yeah, I mean that's the problem with adding like a dark background is, you know, you don't want it to contrast. You don't want to, and that's why I did different kinds of lines too, so that there is some kind of contrast even when it's sticking out, even though it's the same kind of value. Yeah. Pie and ice cream. That sounds good. Where I live, it is really dark out and late at night. Well, you must be on the East Coast or something, or even further. I don't know. I don't know if like people in England would be sleeping right now. I have no idea. One thing I like too about these vertical lines, it's kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of like what do they call those? The radio frequency, like when you're playing a audio spectrum thing. It looks like, just reminds me of like a radio frequency thing or something. It's kind of cool, like a communication thing. So kind of goes with the theme here, a bit of space travel or something. I don't know, just making that up. Totally making that up. I think I need to turn this over because it's easier for me to do lines like straight down, although now this ring thing's in the way. But it also helps me see it a little bit differently now as well. Yeah, this fin is really like blending in now for sure. Well, there is something I can do to try to fix that. Rather than making the background even darker, what I can do is I can add a little bit of white ink to this fin. Even though it's supposed to be that dark compared to the rest of the ship, I think I can get away with lightening it up a little bit, and I think it'll just help it stick out more from the background. I don't know. If I think it's too light or something, I can just hit it with some black ink again. But looks kind of good to me. Oh boy, well. How much, okay, you got a question here. How much have you experimented with mixed media? I know this is cuckoo, and I'm not suggesting this because it's not the right paper, but could one theoretically watercolor a black wash background? That would be cool, actually. Theoretically, yeah, you could. If I didn't care about ruining this drawing, then I probably would try that right now. Just do it, but the paper would fall apart. Yeah, the paper would pretty much fall apart because this is only like, yeah, this is 80-pound paper. Watercolor paper is usually like 140-pound minimum, you know, like for good paper. So like almost double with the thickness of this paper. So yeah, I wouldn't really try it with this paper, to be honest. But yeah, you're right. Like having a black wash for a background would really help me get a value very quickly and bring this thing together. Sorry, folks. I'm not sure, but I'm there's something about it I'm not liking. So I'm just trying to fix something here. I don't know if I want to keep continuing the background a bit, maybe in front of the ship. I feel like it's lacking something. So there's no turning back now. But I do think I like this better now that I'm adding a little bit more space, a little bit more background. It's giving more context to the scene, I think. Sometimes less isn't more, you know what I mean? It just depends. Sometimes you need a little bit more to tell the story. But I don't know. I don't know how to tell stories. I'm just guessing. I just know it didn't look right, so I got to keep trying something. And if I ruin this, I can always draw it again. So it's not like the end of the world or anything. Darken the rear. Darken what? The background? Gotta be more specific, man. Darken the rear. The rear what? The rear of the spacecraft? Rear of the background? I'll just say darken the rear. Come on, dude. Yeah, more contrast. Yeah, I would agree on that. Okay, cool. More contrast. That's what I'm working on it. Trying. Takes a while to get some darkness with the pen like this, you know. I've already been on here an hour and a half, so this one's a little bit longer than what I would normally do. Normally I'd be done about an hour and 10 minutes or something. Try not to keep these videos too long. I start getting hangry and I start rushing things. Rear of the rocket. Okay. Yeah. You're right. This part of it. You're right. Leave the front alone. It's looking good. Okay. All right. I gotta tighten it up a little bit. Oh. Thank you for the very kind comment. I love you. Arts, I mean. Looking good, sir. It's looking good so far. Not the end of the world, and yet SpaceX in and of itself sort of presupposes the literal end of the world. Yeah. I feel like you're on the right track. It looks like it's somewhere now. Yeah. I mean, actually the joke is on you guys, because this isn't the spacecraft. This is a submarine. We're at the bottom of the ocean. So I'm gonna draw some fish, like a giant squid attacking this thing from the back. But oh no. Horizontal hatching in the background? Oh my god, no way. No way, that would ruin it. I don't know. Might not, but I'm not trying that. My style is always like doing one direction of things. A lot of my ink work. This one's not completely one direction. I did one direction in the background and then one direction on the spacecraft. So not completely one direction here. So let me darken the back of this rocket, I guess, a little bit, just a little bit. Oh, my foot's going to sleep. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Oh, I'm dying. I think it is the end of the world. Okay. Oh, guys. Well, I'm getting sick of this drawing already. I'm over it. But let's look at it a different way. I think it really helps freshen it up. It helps you see what it needs. Yeah, I think we do the whole background. We do this side too. Make the whole spaceship pop. So I was wrong. I thought I could get away with just a little bit of the background, but it needs a little bit. It needs a little bit more. Which is fine. It's not a big deal. It's just takes a little more time. I knew somebody was going to say One Direction. The portrait of One Direction. Oh gosh. Oh, by the way, guys, I think the next live stream is number 60. Somebody let me know if that's correct. Anyway, if it's not, whatever, it doesn't matter. But for live stream number 60, I want to do something different. So I kind of decided, I made an idea that any live stream ending in 0, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, etc., from now on, I want to do something different. I want to do more of a discussion-based live stream with possibly critiques thrown in there. So maybe like a discussion for 20 to 30 minutes on some kind of topic, art related, and then 20 to 30 minutes of critiquing anybody's art if they want to send some photos, like 1 or 2 photos of their artwork for critique. You know, something just to do something different every 10 live streams. I think that would be cool. Let me know what you guys think. Since you're the audience, I'd like to know what you guys think about that. So maybe we could do that next. And we could figure out a topic of discussion. I think I have one in my head that's kind of controversial, so we might do it because screw it. I'll just be controversial. Okay, cool. So, all right, cool. So yeah, if anybody wants to, so we'll take a break for 1 second. If anybody wants to send me some of their art, you can go to my website, schaeferfineart.com. My email is info@schaeferfineart.com, but check it out. I got some drawings for sale on there from past live streams, and I also have some watercolors for sale from past live streams as well. So definitely check those out on my website, schaeferfineart.com. And also I have a support page on there. There's ways to support me if you feel like that's something you want to do. You can donate to me through PayPal, Venmo. I have some t-shirts and stuff on there. I'm thinking about coming up with some more t-shirts and other kinds of things, different ways you can support me. And I also have a Patreon page where you can just support me monthly on there. If you feel like giving any amount every month, that's a way to do it. And I'm thinking about doing like some exclusive Q&A sessions over there eventually, or something like that. Maybe some behind the scenes from other videos and stuff, just other content that I don't use for my main channel. But that's all a work in progress for now, but you can definitely go check those out. I'd greatly appreciate it. That's all on my website, schaeferfineart.com. But yeah, I'm thinking I'll I'll make a post on YouTube after this. On the community tab on my page, I'll have my email on there, so you can send me 1 or 2 pieces of art that you want critiqued on here, and we can kind of discuss it. I think that would be pretty cool. All right, I think we're getting somewhere. We're getting close. We're getting close to the International Space Station. Or I'm getting close to losing my mind from all of these lines. Hope you guys don't mind seeing the drawing upside down. To be honest, I really don't care if you do or not, but oh man. Because it's easier for me to stroke downwards to do these lines. Yeah, I mean, not the greatest work, but I mean, this was a challenge from the very beginning, so especially having something that's such a dark background, like a completely black background. One thing I could have done, and I was afraid to do it, where are my pens at? I could have done a brush pen background where it would have just been thick black. But I was kind of afraid of how thick the lines would look. But last resort, I could just try to do that over top of this and really make a solid black background. What do you guys think about that? Should I just keep it line work like this, or should I just go like solid? Should I go solid black background? I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I know it would kind of like make all the stuff I just did pointless, but you know, I'm open to trying different stuff, you know, because I want this to be a good drawing. Whew, 100 minutes, yeah, it's too much. This is why I love your live streams that are low-key hilarious. I try, man, I try sometimes. When is this stream going to be? I'm not sure, honestly. I'm not sure. The next, maybe tomorrow. I need to get. I want to have enough time for people to send me artwork if they want it critiqued. So maybe in a few days or something. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to do the solid black. I'm actually drawing this for someone else. So I'm curious to see what he would say about it. You do you. Oh no, don't say that, man. Oh. I think I'll keep it like this, and I think in future, I think I'll do another space drawing in a few live streams, and I'll try a black background like that for the next one. Try to experiment, I think. But for this one, I've already spent so much time on it. I think I want to keep it like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to thicken up a lot of the outline here, like kind of get really crazy with the thickness, so that it kind of pops a little bit more. in some places. Try to see if I can get that to work. It does pop a lot, actually. You know, especially this area. I mean, that's what I wanted to pop. So I'm not upset at this outcome. The problem is I made some of the spacecraft too dark compared to what the background should be, and I can't get the background solid black. So there's just some issues with values here, and I wish I would have done the background a little bit more sooner before I did a lot of the spacecraft, but it's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes it's like you gotta learn, lesson learned, you know. But this is the most area of contrast. I mean, this is what I wanted the focus to be, so I'm not too worried about these other areas. But yeah, I would have kept all this, just the page, the paper, if I would have known. I wouldn't have made the spacecraft so dark, is my point. Because then the spacecraft would have popped out a bit more from this dark background. Just trying to extend the background out a little bit more. Yeah, Maisie, you can always watch them later. They'll be on the channel, but I probably won't do it tomorrow because I want people to send in their art, like I said, for critique. So, I mean, if not, I'll critique some of my own work, or I'll put up some of my own paintings, and you guys can critique them. So, you know, we'll critique something, or we'll look at some old art and kind of look at it and see, you know, break it down. You know, there's always things we can do. I have a ton of books on some really great art that we can look at, watercolors and stuff from one of my favorite artists. We can break those down. You know, we'll figure something out. But yeah, we'll just have a little chat, a little discussion, and have some fun, man. You know, just hang out, chill out, and critique some stuff rather than drawing stuff all the time or painting something. You know, we can kind of analyze some artwork and figure out how to apply this stuff to our own work. That's what I'm always trying to do. So I'm just evening up some of these lines. I didn't really like one part being super long or larger and stuff, so I'm trying to even up some of this darkness. Yeah, I'm sorry this is like dragging on forever, guys, but I don't blame you if you want to head out now, you know. Does sitting in a chair for 1 hour hurt you? Don't mean any offense, not trying to be mean. Yeah, I don't really like sitting down for this long, to be honest. What kind of sketchbook are you using? So I'm using a Tone Tan by Strathmore. This one's a little bit smaller, as you can see. But this is a 9x12 Tone Tan. They also have toned gray as well. But I like using the toned paper because you can do stuff like this. Stuff drawn on location. Little coffee shop or whatever. Really nice. So, Andy Z, thank you for the $5, man. Greatly appreciated. You're awesome. Keep it up and God bless. Hey, man, back at you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. I will keep doing these live streams and greatly appreciate your support, man. It's awesome. You guys are the best for hanging out with me here. Yeah, I need more darkness up here. Somebody had a question. Any requirement for the artwork sent to you? No requirement. You know, just try to get the best kind of photo you can of it. You know, try to take it outside in the light or put it next to a window. Really get some nice light on it if you can. Because that's really one of the most important things is like the better quality you send to me, the better I'll be able to see it and really, you know, be able to tell the colors and, you know, just be able to judge it more appropriately. You know, I've gotten in the past, I've gotten so many like blurry photos and like really yellow tinted photos and stuff, and it's so hard to judge someone's art when it's, you know, and I understand people don't have good cameras and stuff, but you know, most people have cell phones, you know, just take a photo of it. And yeah, just check out my email. It's info@schaeferfineart.com. You can just go to my website, my email's on there. You just click the little button and it'll open up your email client or whatever with my email address there. But yeah, looking forward to seeing some of you guys' art. I mean, it can be pencil, portraits, paintings, pen, pastel. I mean, it doesn't really matter, you know. I'm not really going to be judging the medium you used. I'm just going to be judging, you know, just looking at it from like, you know, value, drawing, color, design aspects, stuff like that. Just, you know, just trying to see what works, what doesn't work, and of course you guys will be able to share your opinions as well. So yeah, it'll be cool. All right, folks. Well, we got a nice little submarine here. Now I wish I did put in like the earth. If I would have known I was going to do that much background, I should have just put the earth in and had it be white at the bottom, but that would have been pretty crazy, I think. But I think I made this too dark. That's what bothers me. But when I squint at it, if you look at the photo reference and you squint at the photo reference, the back of the spaceship does kind of get lost in space a little bit. So, you know, it is kind of actually, you know, it needs to be lighter. I think this is what it's missing a bit. I think we're just missing some light coming through here. A little more continuity. Try to make this fin lighter there. Something like that. Maybe a little more reflected light in here too. Yeah, thanks for watching. For the people that have to leave, no worries. Yeah, I think this came out pretty well. I think I need to darken this porthole a bit. So now I'm just looking at some final things here. Really trying to bring it together a bit more, possibly. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the background that I did, but I tried, man. I tried my best. I don't think it's that bad or anything. It's just, you know. I think it just needs more time. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Always here to answer questions and stuff if I can, you know. No problem. So now you can see that area does look like it's glowing a bit. So that's what I was going for, kind of that glow. I was thinking of making it glow right around the top edge here, but I'm afraid of doing that. I'm afraid of it interfering with the background a little bit that I've worked so hard on. I will say it does look much cooler in person. Like something with this camera, it's hard to get a very accurate representation of what it looks like for real. But you know, trying to match the light, it does look pretty cool in person actually. That's the thing with art, man. It always looks better in person anyway. Almost everyone that's bought my paintings have said like when they get it, it looks way better in person. Like they're like, wow, this is really great. And I kind of like it to be that way, you know. I almost, when I put photos online and stuff, like I don't want the photo to be really, really, really good because I want them to actually like it more when they see it in person, you know. Elon Musk would be proud. You put all the contrast it ever needed. Yeah, I think so. I'm actually happy with it now. Actually, looking at it on the screen now, I think it's one of those things too. I've been staring at it for so long that it just doesn't look right, you know. But I think it's just one of those things. Like I'll go look at it later tonight or tomorrow, and I'll probably be like, "Wow, this looks really cool." I'm just going to try to darken the background a bit back here so that it tries to contrast a bit more with this ship. So, yeah, man, I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's really, really close to being finished, if not already done. Like, yeah, when I look at it from back, you know, across the room, it actually looks really cool. Actually looks really good. I'll show you guys a different view of this. Let me turn on my webcam and see. You know, it's hard to see it, but, you know, it's solely different when you see it. You know, with different views, different cameras and stuff, you know. I wish I could zoom this thing out more, but I can't really. I'd have to like pick this camera up. But yeah. Yeah, I definitely need to eat dinner now. It's 7 o'clock here, guys, so I'm going to get off here in about 5 minutes. I'll answer any last minute questions, but I think this is pretty much done. Some anonymous person says, have you ever been drawing digitally? Yes, I have. I talked about that in a previous live stream. I showed some of my digital drawings and stuff. If you want to see those real quick, I can show you, but you know. Yeah, I wish I could make the background a little bit less busy. But that's where I think that really that brush pen would have helped, like just making it solid black. It would have really popped the spaceship more. I'm gonna experiment in the future with that. I'm gonna do a different kind of background in the next space themed drawing that I do. Maybe in the next 2 to 3 live streams. I'll try a solid black background and see. That's the thing, I can always turn this into a solid black background. I can always go over this. So if the next one looks better solid black, then you know, maybe I can modify this one possibly in a future live stream. Like I'll just show myself modifying this one or something, but I'm not mad at this result for my first try at something totally different. Really out of my comfort zone here, but that's how you grow, that's how you learn, you know, you got to get out of your comfort zone. Yeah, I can sit here and do this for 10 more hours and make this thing look better, but my ink pen will be destroyed and I will be dead because I didn't eat anything. But yeah. All right, wow, very beautiful watching from distance. It looks much realistic when it is with you. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you guys are getting a very close-up view of it. You know, when you almost wouldn't even, if you hang this on your wall, you very rarely be 1 foot away. Like I'm so close to it right now, and you guys are like, from here to the camera is only like, let me see, where's my ruler? It's literally only like 15 inches. So you guys are seeing it very, very close up this whole time, you know. You know, in this view, I mean, this view is like, you know, you're like 6 inches away from it. So very different view. Rodrigo Garcia, thank you for the $1.99, man. Definitely appreciate it. Very, 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 very appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for the support. Glad you liked the content. Do you go through a lot of ink doing these art pieces? Yeah, I think so. I mean, for sure. You know, these pens don't last very long. You know, maybe like if I draw every day with these pens, I mean, they'll last like 2 to 3 weeks or something, you know, if that. Lights and shadows are very important in a drawing. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. That's really what makes it, you know. And that's what my focus with this was I really like the lighting. So that's what I was trying to show with this one. Well, if there's no more questions, then I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Gonna eat some dinner and stuff. But any last minute, really last minute questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna sit here and just keep adding lines to this thing forever, and I don't think it's gonna help it. I think it's at where it's at. That's what it's gonna be at. That's what it is. I think I've just been staring at it too long. But you guys will see the finished drawing in the YouTube thumbnail. I'm going to update the YouTube thumbnail later on when this gets posted. And you'll see the final drawing there. But if there's no more questions, then I'm going to get out of here. It's been 2 hours. It's crazy. It's too much, too long. So, all right, guys. Well. All right, you guys take care of yourself. Thanks for tuning in. As always, the next live stream will be a discussion. It's not going to be a watercolor this time. It's going to be a discussion with some critiques. So, really cool. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one, man. Like I said, if you want to send me any art, info@schaeferfineart.com, and be sure to check out my website and all that. That's where you'll find everything you need to know. And you can support me on there as well. And I also have paintings and drawings for purchase if you're into that. But anyway, peace, guys.